Hey guys, today we are going to start talking about money. And the first thing we're going to do is identify some coins, and then we'll get some practice counting pennies, okay? First of all, I want you to pause this video, and get an adult to help you gather some coins together. You need a few of each because we're going to talk about them, and I want you to be able to touch them and hold them and feel them while we're talking about them. So press pause now. Okay, so you should have an assortment of coins in front of you. And the first one we're going to talk about is the one that you're seeing on the screen right now. What is this coin called? It's a penny. Those are pennies, yes. And what do you notice about this penny compared to the other coins you have in front of you right now? How is it different from the other coins? I bet the first thing that you noticed is that it's a different color. Yes, pennies are a brownish copper color, a metallic brown color called copper. And who is that guy on the front of the penny? That is Abraham Lincoln. He was one of our presidents. Now, coins have two sides. They have a head side and a tail side. The side with Abraham Lincoln's head is obviously the head side. So if you look on the other side, the tail side, it gives you a clue as to how much this coin is worth. First of all, the building on there is the Lincoln Memorial. It's a beautiful monument to Abraham Lincoln in Washington, D.C., our country's capital. And there's a clue to how much this penny is worth right there at the bottom of the coin. It says 1 cent. So if you ever get confused, you can look on the tail side of the penny and it tells you how much it's worth. Let's look at another coin. We're going to be coming back to the pennies in just a little bit. Let's see if you can find one of these coins in the coins you gathered. This is a nickel. A nickel. And we have talked in social studies about this guy that's on the nickel. This is Thomas Jefferson. Remember him? He was the one that wrote the Declaration of Independence. I bet some of you remember him. Yes, and I'm showing you the head side and the tail side of it too. I want you to get a penny back and hold a penny up next to your nickel and tell me what you notice. Do you notice that the nickel is a little bit bigger than the penny, isn't it? It is. And on the back of the nickel, on the tails side of the nickel, that building is Monticello. That was Thomas Jefferson's home that he built. And on the back of the nickel, just like the penny, it also gives you a clue as to how much that nickel is worth. It says it is worth 5 cents. So another clue to help us when we start counting our mixed coins in a few days. So that is a nickel, and it is worth 5 cents. Next, I want you to find this coin. It is the smallest of all the coins that we'll be talking about. This is a dime. A dime. And it is worth 10 cents. Now, you may not know this guy on the dime. We have not talked about him. That is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was one of our presidents as well. And on the back of the dime, on the tail side of the dime, it doesn't tell you how much it's worth, but it does tell you that it is 1 dime across the bottom. And those pictures on the tail side of the dime, that is an olive branch, a torch, and an oak branch. So it's a little bit different than your other coins on the tail side. So that is a dime, and it is worth 10 cents. The last coin we're going to talk about today is the largest coin that we're going to talk about in first grade, and that is a quarter. I know a lot of you guys already know about this quarter because what happens when you give me snack money in the mornings? Most of the time, you guys give me 3 quarters. That's how much the snacks cost in the office. Now, I know you know this guy on the quarter. That is Mr. George Washington, our very first president. And on the back of quarters, they're kind of tricky because it might have an eagle, it might have something from one of the states. Pretty much anytime you pick up a quarter and look at the back, it looks different. But the one thing that it will always tell you at the bottom, it will say $quarter. And remember when we were talking about fractions, we learned that a quarter of something is a fourth of something. And you need 4 quarters to make $1. So that's why it says $quarter. So another coin with a hint about how much it's worth. Now, how many of you got a little confused between what's a nickel and what's a quarter? Probably a lot of you, and that is perfectly normal because they look a lot alike. But I'm going to tell you the foolproof way to tell a quarter and a nickel apart. First of all, a quarter's bigger, okay? Second of all, yes, you can look at the picture, but the easiest way, you don't even need your eyes to tell the difference. I want you to pick up that nickel again. Let me get back to that slide. And I want you, I've got a big one here. I want you to feel around the edge of that nickel. How does it feel? It feels smooth, doesn't it? Yep. Now, pick your quarter back up. And I want you to feel around the edge of it. Does it feel different? It does, doesn't it? Because quarters have these little ridges around the edge. It feels bumpy. So you know you have a quarter and not a nickel if it is bumpy around the edges. That is how you'll know. Quarters are bumpy, nickels are smooth. We'll go back and review those in just a minute, but I want us to look at this coin today because what you're going to do for me in a little bit is all about this penny. And like we said earlier, a penny is worth 1 cent. Now, do you see that little symbol that I wrote there next to the 1? That is a cent sign. Whenever we're counting money, we need to always make sure that we use our money talk and our money symbols so that people know we're not just talking about plain old numbers, we're talking about money. That cent sign is just a little C with a line through it, and you'll see that it's behind the number. So when you're writing your money amounts, always put that cent sign behind the number. 1 penny is worth 1 cent. Thank you, Charlie. How much is this worth? 2 pennies. I'm going to hold up mine and we'll see if what you think matches it. Did you say 2 cents? If you did, you are correct. Make sure you don't just say 2. It's 2 cents. Good. What about now? How much money is that? 5 cents. If you said 5 cents, you were absolutely correct. I have one more for you. How much is that worth? $0.06. Good job. Now, what you're going to do for me today is you are going to have, if you're on Seesaw, you're going to do it digitally. If you have a packet, you'll be doing it on paper, but you are going to have a page that has a bunch of coins on it, and you are going to have to identify which of them are pennies, okay? Tomorrow, we'll start counting nickels and pennies separately. But today, just focus on identifying those pennies. Remember, on the head side, Abraham Lincoln. On the tail side, it says how much it's worth. So use those clues. Now, before you go, I need you to tell me what these coins are again. What is that coin called? A penny. And how much is it worth? 1 cent. Good. What about this guy? What is this coin? A nickel. And how much is it worth? 5 cents. Says it right there on the tail side. What is this coin? A dime. And how much is it worth? 10 cents. If you're a little confused, it's okay, because after we get done counting pennies and nickels, we'll start counting dimes too. And finally, what is this big guy called? A quarter. And how much is that quarter worth? 25 cents. It's a quarter of a dollar. All right, guys, you are just about ready to go do your assignment, but my daughter is itching to say something, so here she is.
As always, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And by the way, shout out to Brindley and my friend Kaylee's little brother Nolan.
Shout out to Brindley and Nolan. You heard it here, folks. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow, and make sure that you hit me up on my phone or on Seesaw or on Class Tag if you have any problems. I love y'all. Bye.